Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Jets News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Marc Sautter here. Mark, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Thank you for having me, as always. Another team that I cover, the Dallas Stars, are facing your Vancouver Canucks tonight. I didn't even realize that until later this evening. So bold of us to communicate on rivalry night, if you will, but look forward to it as always, man. Thanks.
For sure. Yeah, it should be an interesting game. I don't know what to expect from the Canucks lately, so we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
we'll jump into with the Jets here. Lots of news going on around the team right now. First of all, we'll start with their captain getting a 5-year, $25 million extension that was signed as we're recording yesterday. So I mean, lots of great. I mean, 5 years, $5 million. That's a pretty good for a guy that's your leader, your captain, a third line center mostly, but he's like the heart and soul of the team. So, what are your thoughts about this extension here?
Yeah, man, huge. I think you're on the negative side of things. You're seeing a lot of like, oh, he's too old, or his body's breaking down, or he just had hip surgery, or blah blah blah. I think it really speaks to the nature of that dressing room. I think what you said about him being the heart and the soul, I think sure there's a concern about their best players being over 30, and you can go down that road, but at the end of the day, this guy is the best way that I've heard it described is he is a Winnipeg Jet, like through and through. He just is a Jet. Like there's no way kind of around it. You see the firepower on that team between Scheifele, between Connor, who was the guy scoring the Game 7 goal last year, right? Double overtime. There's just something about him that just represents that whole dressing room, and I think this is just an absolute lock. Like you said, to on the one hand, if you look at it as a third line center, $5 million. In the previous league, right before the salary cap changing and all of that, it seems expensive. But if you kind of rework your brain with this new league and the new salary cap and the new pay structure, I think this is going to turn out to be a terrific deal. We heard the conversation with other players around the league. Come to mind for me, Chris Tanev with the Leafs, where he signs the 6 years deal at 35 years old. And of course, you're going to have people saying, well, he might not play to the end of his career, whatever. The Jets window is the next 3 seasons, and maybe more, maybe a little less, but I think that's a fair window. And you now have him. He's playing terrific hockey. He's already come back. He's already playing lights out. He's only played in 7 games. And so, yeah, man, I think it's a terrific deal to keep him there, to solidify the core of the team. And it's been spoken about through many different writers about how this Winnipeg Jets dressing room is just super tight knit and all of that. And I think signing him for 5 years just solidifies that even more.
For sure. And of course, Kyle Connor, not that long ago, signing his extension as well. So really your core is, locked in now with Adam Lowry joining that. And of course, I think it was a foregone conclusion they were going to sign him anyway. I mean, he's the captain. I don't think they were going to let him go.
No.
And 5 year, $5 million, I think is fair for what he does. And like you say, the adjustment of the salary cap, it's like $5 million is a lot of money. It is, but in this era, really isn't. And I would say it's probably like $3 million back when the $5 million was like a top line player type guy. So you're really, I think it's a good deal too.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some guys that don't want to be part of the core anymore, or not. I guess not anymore. But Brad Lambert is not. You'd think maybe he could have been, but he's this come out today that he's been given permission to seek a trade. So like just through his agents, of course, that they're going to be looking for a team that might be open to getting him. And of course, they'll facilitate with the GM and all that stuff. But are you surprised by Brad Lambert kind of wanting out of Winnipeg? His journey, as we've chronicled on Prospect Corner, through our season preview show as well, that his journey in the NHL or coming to the NHL has been a bit of tumultuous. Even just right from his draft year, he was expected to go a lot higher, ended up falling down from potential first overall pick to like later in the first round.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something that was maybe coming for Lambert here?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been lingering for a little while. I think, like you said, it's not like he was this number one overall pick, and all of a sudden the Jets just weren't giving him chances. He was projected to be, and like you said, fell down the draft. It's easy to look at this from the player's perspective and, well, I have all this talent and I have all this potential, and you look at my numbers, like his numbers with the Moose have been very good. And it's like they're just not giving him a chance. They're not giving him this opportunity. When things like this happen, forgive me, I had the name on my tongue and it has left my brain. There's another player that this happened with the Jets just in the last couple seasons. He was traded to Pittsburgh. McGroarty?
McGroarty, yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of not a theme. I don't know. That might be kind of too dramatic, but this is a Stanley Cup caliber team with very high aspirations, obviously. And it has been over the years a very deep team. And to me, I look at it and it just feels like if the Winnipeg Jets, who are in win now, yesterday mode, if they're not bringing him up consistently, then that's saying something to us. That's not just they're being mean and they're not giving him a chance. Like, that seems to be for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think that they necessarily want to trade him. I think they would love to keep him. They would love to keep him developing. I think that, in the previous conversation that we just had, Lowry, Scheifele, Hellebuck, although he's in net, not with the five guys on the ice. But a lot of their best players are over the 30 threshold. And I think they would love to have players in the system coming up like a Lambert, where you have this second wave coming, right? Because eventually the wheels are going to fall off. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know. But at some point in time, that is going to happen. So I don't think that they necessarily want to let him go. And just because they give him permission to look for a trade, they don't have to trade him. So who knows kind of how this goes. I can understand the frustration from his side. He clearly feels that there is a team out there who has a path to the big leagues quicker than what the Jets are giving him. I would wonder if I was Lambert. Now, I'm not in his position, so who am I to say? While a championship has not come to Winnipeg, the Winnipeg Jets are a winning culture. And so more than likely a team that he would go to that would get him to the big leagues quicker probably doesn't have that same culture. So it's kind of, what do you want, right? So I'm not overly surprised. I think the Jets are disappointed. I think they would love to have him in the system. I think the cupboards are a little bit bare. They're not completely empty by any means. But you can understand the kid wanting a chance. I think too, just real quickly, Matt, is that, you know, I think he's played 10 games in the NHL over the few seasons that he's been here. And he hasn't really done much. So to me, when you have a team like this, there's not a lot of time. The Jets don't have 20, 30 games to give him, right? Like they got to win games right now. So if he's not ready to, and I don't think I think they would expect what? 30, 40 points in 50, 60 games. Like they're not asking him to be Kyle Connor out there. But the Jets don't have a bunch of time right now to wait around for him to catch up to the rest of the lineup. So if he can't have patience, then maybe it is better for him just to part ways.
Yeah, he's got a 1 goal in 4 games so far this season. I mean, he just scored his first NHL goal on November 1st, which, I mean, not that long ago. He's not getting a lot of ice time. I mean, he's averaging about 10 minutes a game. His last game, he only had 6.5. I mean, or almost 7 minutes. So, I mean, he's not getting a ton of ice time. I do get maybe the frustration. He's not getting the opportunity. He's not doing. But, you're looking at guys in the NHL, these rookies like, Matthew Scheifele, Ben Kindle in Pittsburgh. These guys, they're forcing the team to keep them because of how they're performing. So I think Lambert's he's got to force the Jets. We better play him on the top 6 or whatever because he's so good. He hasn't shown that, like you said, yet. So, I mean, that's something, if he really wants to force his way in, he's got to show that he deserves it too, right? So.
Yeah. And I mean, there's something to be said too. Again, I don't know the situation. I don't know him. This is nothing against him. But when we've seen this before, you do have to wonder, is there self-awareness there to say, man, what can I do to keep myself in the lineup? We've seen in the odd situation, like say Cutter Gauthier, right, with the Flyers. Yeah. He requests trade. He wants to be moved. He's killing it right now, right? Yeah. Not everyone is at that level. Not everybody is able to say to just gamble on themselves. So if he feels that he is, then maybe he is. Who am I to say? Yeah. Or maybe it would be good for him to take his time and to move his way up. So I guess time will tell when it comes to that.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, a team will, probably want him. I mean, he's 21 years old. He's got a ton of potential still.
Oh, yeah.
In the right situation, he might thrive, and we'll see. I mean, if he gets traded to the right situation, I mean, who knows? It could be. I mean, Rutger McGroarty gets traded. He's not blowing the doors off in Pittsburgh either. So, I mean, it could also be something there. So, yeah, I mean, Lambert, I think, will – like you say, it's not guaranteed that he will be traded. There's lots of players that have sought trades, or their agents have tried to look for trades and nothing's come of it. They're still with the team. So, I mean, this doesn't mean that he's going to be. It's just that they're looking, and some teams may actually put some offers, and we'll see if the Jets actually do it. But yeah. Be a story to monitor for sure.
Really quickly, just to put a cap on that, I'm also curious as to what the Jets will be willing to part ways with him for.
Yeah.
Because like we said, man, they have some good young players. I'm not trying to paint this bleak picture, but he's like a blue chip prospect.
Yeah.
And so what are teams willing to pay, and what are they willing to say, all right, man, here you go, you can leave, and what are they taking back? That's going to be a big part in this as well.
I mean, would he get a similar type prospect that McGroarty got them? So, I mean, that I don't know. Is he that highly thought of by another team? He was drafted a lot lower than McGroarty, so it is going to be an interesting thing to see what they get in return if they do end up trading him. All right, continuing on, this is a milestone. We've already mentioned his name. That's Mark Scheifele. He is now the all-time leader in games played for the Winnipeg Jets this version of the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, they also were the Jets of, before. And this is the Jets 2.0.
Yeah.
He's played 898 games in the NHL now, all with the Jets. Their first draft pick coming out of the Atlanta Thrashers. Of course, he was the first actual Winnipeg Jets draft pick of this era. What has he meant to the team over this whole time? He's got 831 points in 898 games so far. And this is a guy that I remember his first season or first few seasons. Jets fans weren't very happy about, his development because he didn't come out of the door swinging. So his first couple seasons, he only had 13 goals and 15 goals. And I remember the uproar that it's like, this is not a guy that they should have drafted a 7th overall. He's proven that completely wrong. So what has he meant to this franchise now that he is the all-time leader in games played?
Yeah, man, 100%. I think there's obviously the fan base loves him. There's not too much more to say on that. I think obviously what he's done point production wise, it's fascinating to me. Like, we had this conversation with the Four Nations last year. We're having the conversation this year, right? Coming up in February. He just feels like this forgotten guy that's just always reliable, always steady. I love Winnipeg as an actual city. I've been there a few times. Excellent city. I have friends there. This is just a fact. So people from Winnipeg, I love you. I'm sure, whatever. It's not a destination, right? And I think actually didn't Shovel-Dayoff say this himself, that it's not a destination place. It's it's not Florida. It's not Vegas. It's whatever. I'm pretty sure he said that himself. So when people actually sign there and then stay there, you've already won their hearts. And so for him, I think there was a lot of conversation when his contract was coming up. Obviously, Hellebuck as well, as you mentioned earlier, most recently, Connor. It's always this scared, and it's not just Winnipeg. I think it's just a Canadian vibe as well of just the taxes and the people want us, be in America and all this and that. And for him to commit to playing there, for him to be Lowry might be the captain. Scheifele is an absolute leader on that team. And so for him to play his whole career there, I do think the fact that he was drafted there is huge and means a lot to the market. It being the first ever of the 2.0 era, like you said, that is even more so, right? Yeah. And it doesn't hurt that Winnipeg's been a really good team for quite a few years now. Hasn't always been that way. There's been some dark times out there, and he's stuck with it. There's been some weird things with Byfuglien and Wheeler, and there's been some drama, and would it have shocked you if he decided to leave and not re-sign for 8 years? It wouldn't have shocked me. And so I think that really plays to the hearts of the Winnipeg faithful. And while they haven't gotten over the hump, they have gotten to the conference finals. They've gotten to multiple second rounds. They've always been there. They've been dominant regular season teams. So it can't be overstated that, he means the world to this franchise and to this fan base.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is, he's one of those guys that, he could have got fed up after, his first contract, because I remember that, the narrative around him wasn't the best. I remember there was trade him, get him out of Winnipeg. He's not panning out. Scoring 10, 15 goals. And then he broke out and started scoring regularly 20, 30 goals. He hasn't had a season under 20 since those seasons that this first couple full seasons in the NHL. He's had 20 plus every season since. So, I mean, like, this is a guy that's just, he's become a consistent NHL player that can put up 70, 80 points. I don't know if he'll ever hit 100, but I don't know. I think most people would be saying, consistent 70 to 80, I'll take it. Right. So
100%. And I mean, it's really speaks to as well that, like the Jets, they won the other night. But it was a tough week and a half, 2 weeks on that Western road trip. They had a lot of injuries, a lot of guys out. Not only that, they just weren't playing well. That top line especially wasn't playing well. That is very rare for Mark Scheifele. Even when he's not producing, he's just always in the mix. You watch the games, you hear his name. Feels like every shift you hear his name. So, notwithstanding what happened like on that Western road trip, even if he's not producing, it's his energy. He's not like Adam Lowry when it comes to like, I feel like if like Lowry looks at you, you just automatically think he's just going to kill you. And I don't think it's quite that level. But there's just something special about the way he plays. Like you said, just very professional. I also like, I don't know, like the Winnipeg fans, like they can speak to this. He's just the guy that you root for.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's just the guy that you cheer for, a guy that you want to do well. There's guys in the NHL, like your Brad Marchand. Now, I love Brad Marchand, so I'm not the guy to talk to, but people just there's just certain athletes that a lot of people just like want to lose. You're just like, I don't like that guy. And Mark Scheifele is just not that guy. You just want him to, like, I remember covering the Dallas Stars for the playoff series. Well, I was covering both teams for the playoff series last year, and his dad passes away before game 6. And it's just like, he gets the penalty and you're just like looking at him and you just can't help but just feel like you're in the box with him. Like just, that was a heartbreaking moment because he's just the guy that you want to root for. So absolutely, man. Good for him. The point totals, like you said, keep racking up. And so will the games. And this might be a number that is never passed. You never know. But his name is going to go down with the Winnipeg Jets forever. And it's really cool to see.
For sure. So he is now the all-time leader in points with 831, all-time leader in games played, 898, all-time leader in goals, 347.
Oh, cool.
He has a bit of ways to go for the all-time lead in assists, which is Blake Wheeler still with 550. He's got 484. I think he'll hit it. He'll get there, I think, for sure. He is also behind in the power play goals, which, I mean, that is also reachable. Ilya Kovalchuk with 115. He's got 92. So that's doable, I think.
And that was with the Thrashers, right? So you can even like X that out if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could. So he does the all-time leader pretty much. And Jets is for that.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. And I really hope the Olympic conversation is one for another day, but I really hope he makes it, man, because that would be really cool to see. And I think he deserves it too.
Yeah, I think he has a chance. I mean, he's up there in points. There's just a lot of there's so many guys. They could ice 3 Canada teams, and
I know. So and now the conversation every day. I mean, like up here in Canada, every day it's should Celebrini and Bedard make Team Canada? It's like the only conversation. So, but I'm right there with you, man. I would love to see it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Mark, for coming on, talking Jets. As always, pretty news filled last couple weeks. I mean, Scheifele just did it a game ago, hitting this milestone. So, it's pretty cool. I think he could end up having 1,000 games in the NHL if he can, stay healthy. That'd be a pretty big milestone as well. So we'll see what happens over the next bunch of weeks. The Jets are still, they're third in the Central Division, tied with the Blackhawks and Wild, which is weird being tied with the Blackhawks. Blackhawks are actually a pretty good team this year. So, I mean, they're doing pretty well. They've won the last couple games. We'll see how the next week for the Jets. But make sure to check out everything at thehockeyriders.com. We got great articles from the Jets team of writers, and we also got our other videos on the YouTube channel and the Substack newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you're doing that to keep up to date with all the articles that we have on the site for the Jets. But until our next video, we will see you next time.